You guys can just sleep outside. Haha. Through the speakerphone in the bustling airport, Olivia's loud laughter echoed. I felt faint from the shock. Mom, are you okay? I snapped back to reality upon hearing my daughter Emma's words. She took my smartphone, turned off the speaker, and said, "We may need to teach that person a lesson." Though Emma was smiling, her eyes were dead serious. Trusting her eyes, I turned the speaker back on and told Olivia, "All right, we're going back. I'm Sophia Cade, 46, currently a part-time cashier at a supermarket. My husband, Robert, and I were high school classmates and were in the same class for 3 years. We lost touch during college, but reunited at a high school reunion. There, we found out that we had always been interested in each other and hit it off. We married at 26 and had Emma 3 years later. We planned for a second child, but I developed ovarian issues, making it impossible for us to conceive again. Robert never blamed me, offering only comforting words instead. Let's focus on raising Emma well. We vowed together. Emma grew up healthily but faced difficulties during middle school. She reported bullying in her second-year class, but the teacher ignored it. Fed up, Emma took matters into her own hands and got suspended as a result. I was only trying to protect the bullied kid, she said. Offering no further explanation, she became a recluse, skipping school, watching her struggle. Robert talked some sense into her. Is it okay to live with regret? I'm frustrated, but what can I do? Moved by his words, Emma cried. Robert took active roles in PTA meetings, bringing up the bullying issues repeatedly. Eventually, the unresponsive teachers and even the school heads were all fired. By her 3rd year of middle school, Emma started attending school again and successfully advanced to high school. After this incident, Robert decided to focus more on his family. Emma joined the handball club in high school, aiming to participate in the national championships. Her grades are average, but she excels in English. It wasn't like she had been learning English conversation from a young age. She just had an excellent English teacher in middle school. Even during her suspension and reclusive period, she continued to study English. By the time she graduated from middle school, she had already mastered the basics of high school English. She's passed the pre-first level of the ICANN English Proficiency Test, and she is planning to take the Level 1 ICANN English Proficiency Test in the future. Scored an impressive 960 on the TOEIC exam. She has performed well enough to participate in English speech competitions. Although Emma had a rough time in middle school, she has been attending high school diligently. After coming home, she also helps out with household chores. Part-time jobs are against school rules, but she saves her allowance to buy the latest kitchen gadgets as gifts. And given that Robert often has a lot of desk work, even bought a lumbar support cushion for him. Emma has become incredibly family-oriented, and despite the ups and downs, I feel proud of how well she's turned out. I love both Robert and Emma dearly. However, there's one person I don't get along with. Are you still living with Robert? You really managed to keep your marriage intact despite not being able to bear children. This person who suddenly hurled verbal abuse at me is Olivia, the mother of Robert, and someone I find difficult to deal with. Before marriage, Olivia was a kind person, but she's grown increasingly difficult. At first, she would only nag me about household chores, which was something I could overlook. But gradually, she started to comment on my personal life as well, and ever since I became unable to conceive, she immediately started suggesting divorce. I have had moments of self-blame, but was always encouraged by Robert and Emma. Still, Hearing directly that I can't bear children is painful, Olivia went on to say, why don't you move in with us? Then you could see Robert all the time. Livia is excessively doting on Robert. She even goes as far as delivering lunch to his workplace and picking him up without being asked. This behavior has led to rumors at his company that he's a mama's boy. And it seems like Robert is quite troubled by it. When I said, Robert has his own thoughts about this, Olivia glared at me and replied, well, why don't you ask him to move in with us? I reacted sensitively to this. That would be a bit much. Why? Is there a reason you can't live with me? I thought to myself, living with you would only worsen your bullying of me. But held my tongue, as saying it out loud might only intensify her abuse. I was at a loss for words. I'm homo. Was Grandma here? Emma arrived home at just the right moment. At that point, Olivia suddenly began to shrink back. Well, I'm about to leave. Then make sure to have a proper talk with Robert, Sophia. With that, Olivia left. Seeing her leave, Emma sighed and said, looks like Grandma was giving you a hard time again. Can you always tell, Emma? Olivia always seems to be scared and runs away when she sees Emma. It could be partly because Emma avoids her, but Olivia has seen Emma's rebellious phase in the past and still seems uncomfortable around her. Don't worry too much about what Grandma says. Emma always comforts me whenever Olivia says something harsh. That alone is really comforting. Then Emma announced with a smile, anyway, actually, I passed the highest level of the English proficiency test. Well, congratulations. I knew Emma was good at English, but passing the highest level is something even college students struggle with. It's because she consistently studies English that she could pass so easily as a high school senior. We decided to celebrate that night with special dishes and cake from the local bakery. While preparing, Robert came home. When told about Emma's accomplishment, he was full of praise for her. We celebrated Emma's success once again during dinner. Then Robert also had good news. Actually, something made me really happy today too. I'm getting a promotion. Congratulations. Dad, that's amazing. Robert had been working as a department head for years, and now he was finally going to be promoted to division manager. Thanks to the good news from Robert and Emma, I could forget about the harsh words from Olivia. But then Emma said, if Grandma finds out about Dad's promotion, she'll probably exclude Mom and start planning trips or something, right? I was also worried about that. What would happen if Olivia did that? Sophia, what's wrong? Robert noticed my anxious expression and asked. I told him about Olivia's visit and what she'd said. Robert looked annoyed. What on earth is my mother thinking? Emma also sighed. It's really problematic. It's a good thing I came home early. We're all burdened by it. She added, Olivia's behavior was causing stress for our family. One day, I was browsing through travel magazines. Actually, I ended up deciding to go abroad for a certain reason. Robert managed to get time off, so the three of us decided to go overseas. Our destination is Hawaii. While I was looking for famous tourist spots in Hawaii, Sophia, what are you looking up? Why? I was surprised to see Olivia in the house. I wondered why she just entered the house without ringing the bell or anything. But Olivia just laughed and said, what's the matter? I'm Robert's mother. It's okay for me to come into the house. I wish she would at least have rung the doorbell. Unaware of my feelings, Olivia was looking at the website for tourist spots in New York that I had been browsing. Grinning, she said to me, are you thinking of going to Hawaii with everyone? I was taken aback, but thought it would be futile to hide it, so I confessed, yes. We've decided to go to Hawaii with the family during summer break. She said, lost in thought for a while. I had a bad feeling, and it proved to be accurate. Then my father and I will come with you. But it's not just a vacation. I tried to explain our reason for going to Hawaii to Olivia, but it's not fair if only you guys go abroad. Take us with you. We won't go home until you say yes. Once Olivia gets going, she's unstoppable. Well, let's go together then. Feeling resigned, that was all I could say. I reported to Robert and Emma that Olivia wanted to go to Hawaii, and I couldn't refuse her. Understandably, they were both upset. Well, given Mom's character, she pushes until she gets her way, Robert remarked. But does Grandma know why we're going to Hawaii? I don't think she knows. I tried to tell her, but she kept on voicing her opinions. We had a bad feeling. In the end, Olivia, who said she'd bring her father on the day of departure, went on about buying 2 airplane tickets, places she wanted to visit in Hawaii, and voicing her opinions before finally leaving. Robert thought for a while, and then said to everyone, let's just observe the situation for a bit. There's a possibility she might pull something when we're there. I'll also inform Dad about this. We decided to carefully watch Olivia's actions. There was a chance she might cause trouble during the trip to Hawaii, so we decided to keep a close eye on her. 2 weeks before going to Hawaii, we told Olivia the assembly time at the airport. We told her about the afternoon flight to Hawaii. Olivia kept complaining, "Isn't that too late?" When I keep her updated on every action we're taking, she often complains, saying that's such a hassle. I was irritated as I explained about the trip, but when I got to describing the hotel, Olivia became very excited. Isn't this hotel a place frequented by Hollywood stars? The hotel we were staying in this time was a super luxury hotel where Hollywood stars and famous celebrities often stay. It wasn't like we could easily make a reservation. There was a specific reason we were able to book it. When I inquired if we could increase the number of guests staying, they said if that person is staying, then any number is fine, so somehow we were able to make the reservation. We were clearly informed about the precautions if that specific person wasn't there, but we assured them it would be fine as we were going as a family. Sophia, you're actually useful sometimes. Normally, you're just a nuisance. I wanted to say that the feeling was mutual, but I just returned a bitter smile. Thus, we concluded the conversation and handed Olivia a plane ticket. Please don't be late. I said that, but Olivia just smirked and replied, I got it. I was genuinely concerned if she understood. 1 week before going to Hawaii, Robert told me something shocking. Stay at my parents' house the night before the trip. It's fine if you and Emma don't stay together. That's what he was told. I already had a bad feeling at that point. But Robert also mentioned that Olivia might try to harass Emma and me, so he talked about some countermeasures. I thought Olivia might be scheming something for the day of the trip. On the day of the trip to Hawaii, Robert had gone to stay at his parents' house the previous night. Only Emma and I were at home. Still, we thought we'd make it in time and headed for the airport. But then, in the taxi, wait. Where's my purse? You're kidding. Can we pay? I still have my smartphone, so we can pay with mobile payment. Don't worry. That's strange. My purse was in my bag just 3 days ago. Come to think of it, Olivia visited the next day. Could it be then? I felt like my bad feeling was about to come true. My credit cards were in that purse. What if they are misused? I started feeling anxious. We arrived at the airport, paid the taxi fare with mobile payment, and reached the meeting point. There's not much time left until the scheduled time, but there's no sign of Olivia and the others. I tried calling, but it seems the phone is turned off. There's very little time left before the flight, and it's a no-go if Olivia and her group don't show up. Then my mobile phone rang. The call was from Olivia. Olivia, where are you? It's almost time for the flight, I said in a panic. But Olivia responded with something unbelievable. We're already in Hawaii. When I looked puzzled, Olivia continued, that's why we're already in Hawaii. It was a long trip, so we're tired, LOL. She went on. Also, I took your wallet with me. It has a credit card, so it's convenient for shopping. It became clear that Olivia had taken my purse. She had, as I expected, caused trouble for me. No, not just me. This time Emma was also a victim. You guys can just sleep on the streets, LOL. Her laughter echoed in the airport as I had her on speakerphone. I felt so shocked that I thought I might faint. Mom, are you okay? Emma's words snapped me back to reality. She took my phone, turned off the speaker, and said, that woman needs to be punished. Emma was smiling, but her eyes weren't. They were serious. Trusting those eyes, I turned the speakerphone back on and told Olivia, understood, we'll go back. I hung up the phone and said to Emma, they're probably going to have a tough time from here on out. Emma also said, excited, it'll be hard for them without us, I think. We decided to go straight home and wait to see how things unfolded. The next day, while Amel and I were playing games, we heard voices at the entrance. We're back. Hello, Robert and his father, David, walked into the living room. It's been a while, Sophia. Emma, I'm sorry for the trouble Olivia has caused you. David apologized. It's not Dad's fault. The one to blame is Mom, Robert said. Listening to this, Emma joined in the conversation, looking amused. I bet Grandma's really troubled right now. Upon hearing this, Robert asked me, did you cancel the credit card? Yes, I canceled it as soon as we got home, so it's fine. After being stranded at the airport, Emma and I went home and canceled the credit card and the purse and changed the PIN for the cash card, just to be safe. This way, Olivia won't be able to misuse my money. But is Olivia really going to be okay? David was concerned. Robert responded with a smile. It's about time we make her face the consequences for all the pain she's caused you, Sophia, Robert said, nodding along with me and Emma. It was settled then. She had to be taught a lesson. That night, David decided to stay over at our place. Given that Olivia was likely to show up as early as the next day, we prepared for various contingencies. We discussed various contingencies to prepare for the worst-case scenario. During those discussions, David made a certain resolution. The next day, Olivia arrived at our home and announced. We braced ourselves, thinking, so she's finally here. When Olivia entered the living room, she looked completely disheveled. As soon as she came in, she approached me and said, what is going on? Why couldn't I stay at the hotel? And not just that, why was my credit card not working? Do you know how much trouble you've caused me? She then turned her glare to Robert and David. What's with you two coming back without me? You can't just leave me behind. I pretended to be oblivious and probed for details. What exactly happened? You'll have to explain the situation, Olivia. She glared at me, looking all the more ridiculous for it, and I had to hold back my laughter. It's all your fault that I had to go through all of this. She began her tirade. As it turns out, a few hours after leaving me at the airport, it seems Olivia had lied to Robert and David, saying we would meet up with them later. She had planned on doing the sightseeing the next day and took Robert and David to the hotel where they were supposed to stay. Once there, Olivia confidently said to the receptionist at the reception. Olivia boldly said, I am Smith, and I have a reservation here. The receptionist looked puzzled and asked, I'm sorry, but it seems like your daughter is not with you. What happened? Feeling a bit uncomfortable, Olivia explained. Well, she'll join us later. The reservation is under this name, so it should be fine. In response to Olivia's smug attitude, the receptionist coldly said, I apologize, but without Emma Smith here, Your reservation will be voided. Olivia lost her temper. What? Nobody told me this. What do you mean I can't reserve without Emma? The receptionist calmly explained without flinching at Olivia's intimidating demeanor. This hotel is reserved for a debate tournament. It's a hotel where the participants and their families are supposed to stay. However, if the tournament participant, Emma, is not present, we can't proceed. Please leave. Olivia angrily confronted the receptionist, saying, "This is ridiculous, and I never heard about this." Still, the receptionist placidly placated her. Realizing it was a lost cause, Olivia let out an audible tisk. Watching from a distance, Robert and David sighed and said, "Just as we thought. Without Emma, we can't stay here. But then I can't stay either, can I?" "Don't worry, Dad. I've prepared for this moment." Robert handed David an airplane ticket. This was David's backup plan. Anticipating that this situation might arise, he had pre-purchased a ticket to Japan. This would allow them to leave Hawaii the same day. While Olivia was arguing with the receptionist, Robert and David hailed a taxi to the airport and managed to return to Japan. Muttering complaints, Olivia left the reception and wondered, wait, where did Robert go? Too absorbed in her argument with the receptionist, she hadn't noticed that they had left. She tried to contact them, but they were already on the plane, so she couldn't reach them. She had planned to stay in Hawaii for 2 nights and 3 days, but now had to wander the streets of Hawaii for 3 days. Though she could have gone to the airport to catch a flight back to Japan, the thought didn't cross her mind. She tried to find another hotel, but they were all fully booked. To make matters worse, she went to a restaurant for dinner and faced another problem at the time of payment. "I'm sorry, but we can't accept this card." "You're kidding, right?" Olivia had tried to use my credit card, but it had been disabled. Reluctantly, she used her own card, but it was close to its limit because the restaurant was pricey. She also didn't have much cash in dollars. And there was yet another tragedy. Yuri found a budget hotel, but it only had shared rooms. The people she ended up sharing the room with were obnoxious troublemakers. They were making a racket while Olivia was trying to sleep. Although Olivia cautioned them in broken English, they didn't listen. Moreover, despite the noise, the hotel staff did not come to intervene. I later found out that the hotel Olivia stayed in was terrible. It seemed to attract a rowdy crowd, maybe because it was cheap. Regardless of which room you stayed in, there were noisy gatherings all night long. And even worse, the hotel staff seemed to turn a blind eye to it all. Understandably, Olivia couldn't get any sleep and was almost sleep-deprived when the day ended. The next day, she took a taxi to the airport with the last of her money. Overcome by exhaustion, she fell asleep on a sofa at the airport, which turned out to be a big mistake. When she woke up, it was just a few hours before her scheduled flight. She reached for her smartphone to check the time, only to realize her purse was missing. Incredibly, Olivia's purse was missing. I had kept my purse in an easily accessible bag, which she had used as a pillow. However, Olivia had put her bag in a more accessible hand-carry bag, making it easy for her purse to be stolen. Luckily, her ticket and passport were safe as they were in the same bag, but it was unprecedented for only her purse to be stolen. When she tried to inform the nearby staff about her missing purse, Olivia, who barely spoke English, found it very difficult to communicate. By the time they understood, her flight's departure time was imminent, so she ultimately had to give up and head back home. Upon returning to Japan, she went straight to my house, and after hearing Olivia's story, my entire family burst into laughter. "Well, that figures." Olivia, who had been doing as she pleased, had run into such a disaster that we could do nothing but laugh. Olivia was understandably angry, asking us what was so funny. I responded while trying to hold back laughter, explaining that we never expected things to go so disastrously for her. Olivia shouted, "What's wrong with me going to Hawaii? Nobody told me this would happen." Then I told Olivia the truth. "You see, we weren't going to Hawaii just for fun. You're lying." Despite planning to go to Hawaii without telling me, Olivia was ranting, but I ignored her and continued speaking. "Olivia, even the receptionist had mentioned it. I believe Emma was supposed to participate in a speech contest at the hotel we had reserved in Hawaii. The actual reason our family was going to Hawaii was that Emma had qualified as the Japanese representative for an international speech contest. Emma was to present her opinions and share insights with students from around the world. The contest was to take place at the same hotel, and only immediate family could stay there, and the hotel only allowed the individual and their family to stay there. However, we suddenly had 2 additional people joining us, so we had to make a special request to the hotel. The hotel accepted this request, but on one condition: Emma absolutely had to be brought along. If she was not brought, the reservation would be invalidated according to the contract. I've been contacted by the organizing committee asking why we didn't participate. I've explained the whole situation about this incident. We'll probably have to pay a cancellation fee for the hotel. Olivia was infuriated even more, saying, "You've got to be kidding me. There's no way I can afford to pay for such an expensive hotel. You all should explain properly and pay for it." Robert then joined the conversation. "Mom, enough already." Sophia tried to explain, "But you didn't listen at all. This is all your own doing." Robert, whom Yuri adored, shocked her with these words. "And, Mom, you stole Sophia's purse, didn't you? We'll be reporting that to the police as well. By the way, don't think that because we're family, this won't become a criminal case. Grandma doesn't count. So it's a regular criminal case." With this additional information from Emma, even Olivia started to panic. Fearing arrest, Olivia got on her knees and begged, "Please spare me from the police." But those words wouldn't earn her any forgiveness. Frustration boiling over, I exploded at Olivia. "Don't be so naive. I've put up with your verbal abuse for so long. You kept talking about my illness, as if I chose to be sick. Do you want a male heir that badly? I'm sorry I can't meet your expectations, but I love Robert and have no intention of divorcing him. Emma, who we raised despite hardships, is our precious family. You, who destroy our family happiness, are an annoyance just by being here." In a non-stop rant, I unleashed all my pent-up frustrations and anger at Olivia. But as soon as I snapped back to reality, I suddenly felt embarrassed. Seeing Robert and Emma moved by my outburst only made me feel even more self-conscious. Olivia, who had never seen me angry, looked terrified. David, who had been listening, finally spoke. "I heard from Robert that you've been tormenting Sophia, but I never imagined it would come to this. To think it would escalate into such a big mess." After taking a deep breath, he spoke again to Olivia. "For now, it's a nuisance to have you here. Let's have a serious discussion when we get back home." Olivia was in a state of mental collapse. David apologized to us and took Olivia back home. They eventually divorced. I filed a police report for the stolen purse. Because it was her first offense, she was released quickly. I decided to sue her for theft and years of abuse. As a result, Olivia had to pay damages. Of course, Olivia was also responsible for paying the hotel cancellation fees. Since Olivia, who had her purse stolen, didn't have the money, David decided to cover the costs for her. Olivia tried to contact us for financial help, but I blocked her, saying, This is all your own doing. Olivia is now working a part-time job to pay back the money, but nobody wants to deal with her because of her terrible personality. Well, she has been paying the compensation regularly every month, so all I felt was that she should continue to make those payments. On the other hand, we decided to move to a place closer to David's family home now that he was alone. And he's become much brighter. I'm sure David was worn out from constantly dealing with Olivia's complaints and criticisms. As for Emma, who couldn't participate in the speech contest in person, she apparently joined it online and said she was able to achieve good results. Following that incident, our family relations improved significantly. Now, without any contest to worry about, we are all planning a trip overseas as a family. I want to continue living a happy life with my family, whom I love so much.